All right. Hey, it's good to be here. I could see all the everyone loading up here, and I know you're trying to get everyone on board. It's crazy what's going on, and I hope I have a voice. I hope I have energy. Yesterday we did a Zoom, and some of you were on that Zoom. That thing came together just kind of a uh, fly fly by the seat of our pants. I got a call from Tracy Palos. She said, "Hey Jeff, would you mind doing a Zoom for my team I'm working with? You can invite some of your guys." I said, "Sure." We're thinking maybe 50 people, 100 max, and it blew out. Over 1,000 people jammed into that. I'm finding out now over 300 got bumped out, and so it's insane what's taking place. I mean, that's just after 5 days of word leaking out. And I've heard for the company, they're like, my gosh, we're hearing things here at corporate. I said, we haven't even tried yet. We haven't even started yet. And so I'm going to try and outline some stuff for you guys so you can comprehend what's taking place, because most of you are just hearing this in bits and pieces as it's leaked out. But, I've been doing this business now for about 35 years. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about the past, a little bit about where we sit right now, and a little bit how the future looks. And they're all going to be interconnected as I tell you a few stories that have a similar grain of similarity to everything I'm going to explain here. When I looked at this business back in the 80s, now those of you on this call, that's dating myself. I'm 65 years old, okay? And so back in the 80s, they called it the Great Recession. It was the worst time since the Great Depression. And I remember distinctly, it was a negative time for people. They were uncertain about their future. Everyone was negative. People were struggling, and it was a really tough thing at that point in time. And so as I remember getting the call from Craig Tillotson, myself and Nathan Ricks were involved in some real estate stuff. And Craig called and he started talking to us, and we're like, he says, hey, you guys, this is your time. This is your time in Nu Skin. And we're like, we're not going to do Nu Skin. And why don't we do Nu Skin? You guys are laying people on the ground doing facelifts. It's mostly women. We're promoters. We're not really skincare guys. And Craig said, you don't understand. He says, we have pioneered this. We found our stride with the product. People love it. And it's going to explode. And the product is going to move into the market at a rapid pace. You guys should come and join us. And so we did. Okay. At that time, the company was doing about 40 million in sales. And I remember thinking, how are we going to do this, man? It's negative out there. Would anyone even be able to focus? And then the light came on. You know what? It's dark outside. Sell the light. There's no vision out there. Sell vision. Show them what their life could be like. And our story was very simple. It's like, we're going to take this from small to big. Time has been bad for you guys the last few years. And what could your life look like in the next few years as you join us and we build this company? What could your life become? And they came. They came in droves. The best people I've seen came into the business at that point in time. We cut the entrepreneurial heart out of the market, and the business exploded. It basically 10 times itself, from 40 million to 500 million in 20 months. Now, that sent a shockwave into the marketplace. All right. Now, I basically just buried my head and just focused and just laser focused on what the business was about. As I came up for air, I had people in the business way better than me. Well, as time has gone on, Nu Skin has continued to reinvent itself and stay vital the whole way. And I remember one time, and kind of the moral of the story I just told you there is, you sell the light when there's darkness. Okay. Well, I remember along my journey, about 9 months before they opened it, they told us about Thailand was going to happen, right? So they leaked that out. I'd never been there. I don't know anything about it. I started to read up on it. I thought, hey, this is a great country. This is going to be a good market. And so myself and four of my friends, so five of us, we got together and said, okay, let's go after Thailand. We're like, how are we going to do that? I don't know. Go to a Thai restaurant, grab a Thai guy, start talking to him. Anything Thai. We're just going to start asking questions. Who out there's been to Thailand? You know anyone Thai? You know anybody that's been there? You know anyone that speaks the language? Long story short, people started to surface, and it leapfrogged into LA, where there was a heavy Thai population, started to gestate, and started to jump overseas into the market. And the story was simple. We're opening Thailand. We've been successful everywhere we've gone. We change people's lives. And I don't know who the leaders will be. It may be you, but now's the time to take action. Spread the word. And that's what we did. For 9 months, that's what we did. And we worked our tails off. Long story short, they opened the market. And I had to make an executive decision. I had to decide what's happening. Do we really have something significant? So I rented the largest hotel in Bangkok, Thailand, the Emerald Hotel. It seated 2,500 people in the ballroom. And so we did 2 sessions, a morning and an afternoon, 2,500 seats in each session. First session in the morning filled up. And we're like blown away. So me and my friends, 5 of us, trained that 2,500. Okay. The next session rolled in. 2,500 more different people showed up. So me and my friends trained 5,000 people the first day they opened the market. Now, by the month end, which is about 3 weeks from that day, that 5,000 turned into 30,000 people. Those 30,000 then ordered product. What do you think happened? It was a literal explosion, and we changed lives. Now, what happened from that is that group went on to dominate 90% of that market, still does that to this day. And some of the best leaders in this business came from the Thai market. You know many of them, okay? And here's the deal. They were born before the market even opened. So the moral to that story, you take action with vision and faith before the masses move. Okay, and that's taught me a lot. It made me realize that, you know what? You need to have a first mover advantage. You need to be an innovator, an early adopter, and move forward with faith and lead the charge, not follow the pack, but lead it. All right? Well, fast forward a little bit further. Okay, as Nu Skins continue to grow, we're a $2.5 billion operation, okay? Well, here's the thing. I don't think any one of us in this call could have predicted what happened the last 3 years. I mean, the last 3 years has been a freak show all around the world. In fact, the only people that have been through something similar to what the world's been through the last 3 years, they're already dead. Because the last time a pandemic occurred, it was over 100 years ago. So you look at that, and everyone has their own take on what the pandemic's about and that whole thing. I don't think we all understand it to this day. But the bottom line is it's had a dramatic effect on the marketplace. Okay. If I was to come to you 5 years ago and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to write this horror story, this novel, and what I'm going to make up here, there's going to be this biological agent that gets into the atmosphere. People get sick. Some of them die. And the reaction from governments and other things are going to occur. And you're going to see people locked in their houses. Business will be deemed, inappropriate or non-essential. Others will be deemed okay. So some will be chosen to fail. Others will be chosen to stay. It'd be a crazy situation. And the end result would be is the certainty that people had prior to the event now disappeared. And the whole world at once is uncertain. Now, to add insult to injury, we're going to have a worldwide recession that follows the knee-jerk effect of that pandemic. And you're going to see darkness for a few years where economic conditions are just going to squeeze the life out of people. Now, if that was the story that I created, you'd have thought I was sick in the head. But guess what? That's exactly what every one of us has lived through and is living with right now. What did that do for us? Well, we had some real creative distributors, okay? And the bottom line is that they found a way during the COVID, hassle. They figured a way through social media to market low-end items and attract attention of a lot of people and grab them and upgrade them to leadership. And we've gone through and built a ton of leaders during a time when most companies are failing, all right? And so we proved during COVID that we are unbeatable. We are unconquerable. And that's because of the strength of our leadership. And so you look at that and you say, okay, that's awesome. Well, what's going on now? Well, during the cloak of darkness, okay, in those 3 years where everyone was just upside down wondering what's up, our company was busy. Now, many of you are leaders on this call, and I've heard through the grapevine, there's some saying, how come we're not invited to a meeting? How come this is leaking out this way? How come we don't have some formal meeting where they're saying, hey, here's what we're doing, guys. Here's the thing with AI and DNA and all that. Well, here's why. Craig Bryson, okay, some of you don't know Craig, but Craig is the founding distributor for Nu Skin. That means everyone in the world is under Craig, including me. Now, I had been, because we're both local, going into the company, talking with our corporate leaders on behalf of many team elites around the world because of my proximity to try to represent some things that we wanted to see happen to create volume and a foundation with which we could grow with. Well, Craig was doing the same thing. And I just say, hey, Craig, why don't we just join forces, go in there so we're not doing double time and we can kind of get some of this stuff done. And we did. And what I watched over a 3-year period of time is right at the beginning, Craig started talking about artificial intelligence. He started talking about DNA. He started talking about the gathering of information and how information would be the new currency in the future and how these things would make us look different from anything else in the marketplace out there and to put us in a position where we could actually move into a realm that no one had ever gone to before. But this wasn't easy. It was going to take a lot of investment. It was going to take a lot of work that we hadn't currently been able to do as a company. Now, they were taking notes. Now, enter Steve Hatchett. Now, some of you don't know Steve. I know Steve really well. Steve has been a game changer in the corporate structure to be there side by side with Ryan Napierski, our CEO. And he's there because they bought his operations. They bought his manufacturing facilities, right? He's an entrepreneur. He's not really a corporate suit. They brought him in and they wanted him in the corporate structure to help blend that, make sure it works. Well, Steve has risen up to where everybody's rallying around Steve because he's a real guy, man. I mean, when you talk to Steve, you know, he's telling you how it is and he doesn't ever say something he can't deliver on. And I remember Steve taking notes with everything Craig was saying. He was writing them down on his pad and he's paying attention. He's asking questions and you can see his brain thinking the whole time. And so these guys were putting things into the works. They didn't tell us everything about it because they know how it is. I mean, people like me and Leata, you tell us something and we're going to go blab it to everyone. Why? Because that's what we do. That's our job. That's what we do for a living. And so they didn't tell us everything, but they were moving forward and they just kind of say, hey, we're moving forward, trying to get to this end game and where we're going to be. They made an announcement that they were investing $500 million in technology upgrade and AI capability. Now, those of you that may be on this as guests, you probably read that press release. Okay, now think about that. That's a $500 million investment. You're on here right now as a distributor or looking to become one. You didn't have to invest the $500 million. They did. And now they're saying, hey, we want to partner with you. Okay, and so here it's moving forward. I'm thinking, my gosh, they're investing this money. And Ryan's a smart dude. He realizes to pull this off with the technological upgrade, he can't do it internally. So he's hired the best people out there and brought them in. Okay, so those guys are now working with us to build this out. And they're writing the algorithm as we speak. They're going through the legalities as we speak. They're dealing with all the privacy issues as we speak. They're doing all the backroom stuff you don't want to do. That's what we're doing. Well, here about 6 weeks ago, Craig and I are called in there and we see this little box, a DNA collection kit, I'll call it, or tool. And I look at it, and Craig's sitting here to my left. I still remember this. I look at it, and the lights come on. And I look at Craig, and Craig looks at me, and I said, it's here. It's here. And we lit up. I could connect the dots. Here's where we sit right now. Now, this is interesting because this had to be sold. The corporate guys were like, we need to leak this to the field. There's people out there that are just ready to roll. The economy is at a time right now where there's more prospects than ever before because COVID has absolutely squozed the life out of people. The downturn of the economy's coming in, and we're a counterintuitive business. We are going to see our business explode, and we're going to attract the best people, especially with this story. So when you talk about DNA and AI, That's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. If Steve Hatch was on this call, he'd say, Jeff, you're selling it short. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And under non-disclosures, I can't explain everything that they told me, but I can tell you what I'm going to tell you right now. It is the tip of the iceberg. And really what's going to happen here is, this is where I want you to kind of pick up on a term, well, let me see how I can envision this. I call it an avatar, but really it's a digital persona of you. Okay, it's a digital twin. Okay, and if this digital twin is where we all want to be, okay, let's say I've got this electronic version of me, this digital twin, and it's the perfect Jeff. And everything about my system and my functionality, my cognitive ability, everything I am that my genetics will allow is at its optimum. And here sits Jeff today. The goal is to take Jeff today and making that digital twin. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? Well, you have to gather information. And so here's what happens. What you're going to see happen in the next year to 18 months is you and I are going to go out there and we're going to talk about some things. Now, as you see this slide that's on the screen right now, I want you to explain what it is we're looking for. When I helped open Thailand, we put the word out there. I didn't care who it was. You didn't have to be Thai. Anyone that would listen would put it out there and we'd get their response. Whatever that response was, we'd respond from that. Now, majority of people were like, oh, I think I'll wait till the product's out, or I'll wait till the market's open, or I'll wait for that. Fine. If you look at this at the screen there, most of the people fit into three categories: the early majority, late majority, and traditionalists. That's 85% of the population. And that really never changes. Those guys will show up they're always late to the party and they fill up the rest of the van, all right? The innovators and early adopters make up about 15% of the population. They're the ones that'll move when all the lights aren't green. They're the ones that'll take action before the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. They're the ones that'll sell the vision. They're the ones that'll have the faith and move forward with energy. Those were the guys that moved with us on Thailand, and those were the ones that reaped the reward. That's the same thing here. Okay, so what we're doing right now, some of you might be sitting there thinking, well, gosh, so he's talking to us about something that's not here yet. When I say AI DNA, you guys think Thailand, but think it on a larger scale because the parameters are gigantic. I'm not even sure we can measure it. That's how big this can become. Okay, so what you'll witness is between now and the time we open this, before they turn on the AI DNA machine, all right, we're going to go out there and we're looking for the innovators and early adopters. They're going to come in and they're going to position and build an organization on future vision, right? Right now with the products we have. These are the products that are going to drive volume when we get the AI DNA thing going, because these are products that deliver. They've got all the double-blind placebo studies. They've got all the science behind them. They're legitimate, all right? And so you're going to see that happen. Now, some of you might be saying, well, gosh, I don't know if I'll get people to do that. Well, you know what? You will. You're going to get the best ones. You're going to get the best ones. I haven't stopped talking since we launched, the call yesterday. I have to keep charging my phone. It keeps going dead because one after another. I was doing a conference call from bed this morning with 4 powerhouse people from around the country. And knowing what I know, that's money in the bank, okay? They're coming here in droves because the message it's ringing true to the ears of the entrepreneur, and they know the pre-positioning window is a ground floor opportunity. And so we're going to go out there and we're going to find those people, lay that foundation in place. And what you're going to see happen is they're going to turn on the DNA AI machine, and you'll see these assessments flood the market. See, because what happens is this: as this evolves and the technology evolves, many of you right now have already downloaded the Vera app on your phone, and you see the functionality there. What that will eventually morph into is really the portal to the business. And it'll be as simple a year to 18 months from now as if I'm recruiting Leata. I just say, hey, Leata, you won't believe what's going on with this. We can gather your DNA. We can get a snapshot of your whole health profile, and we can create this digital twin of you. And the goal is to, make where you are today what that digital twin is. And so we're going to take that DNA, It goes into the company, it gets analyzed with privacy issues. They're going to send that right back to you. And as you send that right back to you, okay, you're going to see where you're short. You're going to see where you have these deficits. And as you see those deficits, they can suggest products we have that will fill those deficits and help complete you. All right. Now, you might, call whoever invited you to that or whoever got you into the business because you don't know a whole lot about the products and say, hey, Jeff, hey, Liotta, I'm looking here. They say I need LifePak. They say I need Meta. They say the collagen would benefit me. They say that this product and that product will help round out my health profile. What do you know about that? Well, hey, I take this and that and that and that, and here's been the benefit. Well, I get on it. I get on auto ship with it, and bam, we're off to the races. So what just happened there? The assessment is a product everyone will want. I don't know anyone when you talk to them in this realm, and 23andMe and Ancestry have proven it. I mean, those guys have gone out there and got a ton of DNA collected, and they can tell you where you came from. Well, we're going to tell you what your health profile is, but more importantly, we've got the answer or the solution to help bolster it, to help make you the best you can be with your genetic code to create your own avatar or your digital twin. Now, here's the thing. This whole business is about lots of things. Yeah, it's about pre-positioning. Yeah, it's about leadership. Yeah, it's about leadership development. It's also about retention. Now, think about this for a minute, because I want you to put your business caps on. Say that I get involved, okay, and I get my health assessment, collect my DNA, my health assessment comes back, I see where my shortages are, I get on the products, I start moving towards that perfect me, that digital twin. And let's say I have intentions to build this business some way along the way, I just lose my vision and I'm using the product. What do you think the likelihood is that I might leave and go somewhere else to get my product or to veer off and go over here looking for help? Like almost zero. You know why? Because we have various ways in addition to the DNA, as we can test your lymph system, we can test your gut, we can get all these tests going, and they have to be repeated because your body's changing to see the progress. And so I'm involved in this mechanism, right? And you've got all of my data, you've got all my information, and all that information has held future value to the company and the network that you build, because the customer retention will be off the charts. What I'm here to tell you is, as we drive that spike into the market with the assessments and the analysis comes back and then the product comes back and is sold. Here's how it's sold. It isn't you as the distributor selling it. It's the AI machine. See, because what happens now is all the information's in there. They electronically contact the customer. They upsell it. They do the suggestive stuff. They are the ones that are actually, educating that consumer on what that benefit is. And all of a sudden, the heavy lifting is being done by the AI capability of Nu Skin itself. And so what you and I become essentially is bird dogs. We're out there hustling people down. We're living our life. We're talking to them about the opportunity. We're showing them what our lifestyle might be. We're explaining to them about why their health assessment's important and why they need to get it. And boom, away we go. See, we're out there doing what we do best, and that's talking to others. The company now comes in and fills everything in for product sale. Man, I'm here to tell you, you've never heard a story like this. I've never heard a story like this, and I've heard everything. I'm 35 years in this industry. I know everything that moves out there, and I've never heard anything like this. And you know why you won't see anybody like this competing with us? Because you got to have another $500 million laying around to invest to even get to the table. And so you look at that, and every now and then say, well, can someone repeat what you're doing? I guess they could try, but the truth of the matter is I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. And if they did, they'd be so late to the game. I want you to know this thing's over in 18 months. You might say, what do you mean it's over in 18 months? Think back to the Thailand story. It was done before they turned it on. We had put it in motion 9 months in advance. 5,000 showed up, turned into 30,000. It now dominates 90% of the market. And here we are 20 years later. I'm here to tell you, you're in a window right now. This is a diminishing asset. Okay, and if this represents the day that they complete all the algorithms, they got all the electronics done, all the legality, all the stuff that they're doing with that 500 million, all right? And that's the day we turn it on. And I can't give you an exact date right now. Maybe it's 12 months, maybe it's 18. It's irrelevant. What is relevant is we have a window to sell into, to go out there and find that 15%, thinker, the early adopter and the innovator. But here's what's happening. We did a Zoom with 1,000 people yesterday, and they're jumping on board. I was on my phone all day today. People were signing up. So the window shrinks a little bit. We're doing a Zoom right here. It's ricocheting around the globe. This recording, I'm sure, will bang around the globe as well, because the other one's been recorded and it's banging around the globe. They sent it to me. I've been sending it out to people all day long and following up. So the window shrinks just a little bit. As we get closer and closer to D-Day, when they launch this thing, the window's shrinking. This diminishing asset shrinking all the way down. And I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm not coming up for air for 18 months. I'm here at my son's house right now. He's a policeman. He's in the deal. We're building a new team. After 30, something years in the business, I'm building a new team and I'm pulling my son in the loop. You know why? Because I see the future. And this window's closing, and we're just gonna squeeze everything we can out of it until they turn it on. And you know what'll happen? We'll build an army. We are gonna build an army. And when the assessments get released into the market, millions of them will flood the market, and it's a product, so you're gonna get paid on it. And as it floods the market, and then the diagnostic comes back, and then the products that are recommended then follow, it'll go bam. It'll make Thailand look like child's play. What I would predict here, and this is just me talking, so this isn't Nu Skin, so don't quote Nu Skin. I think in 2023, we double the size of this company. We're currently at $2.5 billion. And if you can do that, 2024, you're going to see it go to 10 billion. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that's 7.5 billion we currently don't have. And you know where it's going to come from? New people that catch this vision. And you know where the most lucrative time is? Right now, before they turn it on. Now, I don't know if this is making sense to you. If it is, and you're salivating, man, you better rearrange your life and figure out how to capture this. If this is going over your head, then maybe we'll talk to you in a year or two. Doesn't matter. The right people are going to hear this message and find it. They've been ringing my phone off the hook all day long. I don't even have a voice left. I'm not sleeping anymore because I can't. My mind's churning because I know where I'm at. Know where you're at. Now, I don't know how you came here. I don't know if you're here by fate or you're here because it's destiny, but you're in the right place at the right time. Now, that doesn't anoint you king. That doesn't mean that you're going to capture this, because you're going to have to get busy. You're going to have to focus. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't see the vision. They're going to say, oh, no, wait. I'd like to wait till that assessment's ready to go, and then I'd get mine done. And we'll do, okay, we'll talk to you later. Or, I'm really busy right now, and I got a lot of money. Okay. You know what? No time's a good time. Rearrange your life. Okay, I don't even know if I'll have Christmas at my house. You know why? Because for Santa to come, you've got to be asleep. How can he come? I'm not asleep, right? I mean, we are going to focus and work. We're already doing it. We're off to the races, guys. Leot, I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for, but that's what's coming out of my mind and my mouth and my heart. And I'm here to tell you, I'm going to close with this. Those of you watching this, you will never see an opportunity like this again. That I guarantee you. You know how I can say that with confidence? Because you can't recreate the last 3 years. There's no way. And what that has done, you might say that's horrible. And yeah, it has been for many. But the counterintuitive business that we are, that's good for us. And the recession is good for us. You know why? Because it's eliminating opportunity for the average person, and they're getting squozed. And as negative and as bad as that is, they come our direction. Why? Because they need to still feed their family. They need to still create a future. They still need to have vision. They still need to have hope. They still need to see someplace that they can go. And we're providing that for them. And they're coming to us in droves already. So what do you got to do? Well, if you're new, get signed up in the business. Place your order. Whoever's got Yanni will show you how to do that. And make a list and let's roll. And it's as simple as sending out the video. So I'm sure there's going to be one of this, and let them look at it. And I got to tell you something. If they look at this and they're flatline, they're the wrong guy. Don't have angst about it. Don't worry about it. Move to the next one, because I'm telling you, there's a monster just waiting to hear this thing. And they're amped up and ready, and they got nowhere to go. You open the door for them, and I'm telling you what, it'll freak you out. I have seen it time and time again. We find leadership. We don't develop it. They're out there. They're looking for a track to run on. And I'm here to tell you, there's never been a faster track than this. I've never seen a faster track. I mean, when you think about it for a minute, the business, once we turn this on in 12 to 18 months, is as simple as if I'm recruiting Liotta, hey, Liotta, you won't believe what's going on here. DNA meets AI. Nu Skin's invested $500 million. This thing's blowing up. You need to get your health assessed so you can see where you're at. Okay, I'm going to send you a link to an app. So I send that link to the Vera app. She downloads it. She goes in, follows the prompts, goes through the porthole, orders the assessment, which is a product. I get paid on it. Back comes the analysis. The products follow into the market, and it starts to explode. And all I do is then repeat. Okay, I just start to get things out to people. If it's a video, whatever, I send them the app. The app comes, they open it, they get the assessment, and on and on and on and on. It is so quick, it's so slick, and so fast. We're positioning for that right now. We're laying the foundation before that happens. And some of you might say, man, that sounds so good. I want to wait till that happens. But what are you going to do? You going to wait? You're going to be one guy now trying to do that in 18 months? Well, you know what? I'm going to just darken the skies with people and bodies that are in the business. When it turns on, you're going to see the masses move, and they're going to be somewhere. The way I liken this is real simple. Then I'm going to close here. It's kind of like you got a bunch of planes in the air, and they've got cargo, and that cargo is worth huge value to you. Okay, it's worth money for everything on that ship. That plane, what's on there, has value, but it's got to land. Okay, you need to build your runway, and if you build the runway, you're going to have a place for all those planes to land. If you don't build a runway, they're going to land on someone else's runway, but they're going to land. You tracking me? They're going to land. And so my last words to you are this: build the runway, get busy. I'm telling you what, I've never seen anything like this, ever. And what we're going to witness is the biggest growth cycle we're ever going to see. And you've heard about it before it even happens.